All right, good evening from the RCN News Center in beautiful Bogota. I'm Carlos Vergara with a look at Colombia's top stories. We begin with a helicopter crash in Tolima that killed 4 people, including a top army general. Witnesses say the chopper flew into a cloud and then just simply fell to the earth. Farmers who reached the crash site just after impact say no one on board survived. Hello, Thursday night, Carlos Vergara in the RCN News in English studio. Big night. The big story tonight, of course, Colombia versus Brazil, the world champion in soccer. And who could have predicted this? Right now, folks, 0-0. Colombia playing very well against the world defending champion. Our sports director, Efrain, tell us what is going on. This is a big story right now as it stands.
It is, Carlos. Good evening. Well, what's happening right now is that Colombia is tying up 0-0 to Brazil. And the great story is that it is in the Maracanã Stadium in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil.
100,000 Brazilians. And Colombia is holding their own. Their defense has got to be something phenomenal.
It is phenomenal, but not only the defense. Yep. It's the way that Colombia is standing on the...
They're holding their own.
Yeah, well, in the field right now, what they're doing is great because they're playing 2 double lines in defending and middle field, and that is keeping the Brazilians in their own territory, and Colombia is having a way to go out to look for the Brazilian goal.
So they're probably playing 4 midfielders and 4 forwards. Colombia.
Actually, no. What they're playing is 4 midfielders and 4 defenses, and this is keeping Brazil a touch into their own field.
That has a lot to do with the coach, and this new year, new coach, great things happening. Well, right now, not great things happening because they are 2-0 going into the World Cup competition, but they are holding their own.
Colombia's having big problems because right now they have been slipping. They've been losing 3 games in a row, which is a catastrophe in such a short games like this in this eliminatory, and that has the team very worried and all the fans because Colombia looks like South Africa. The World Cup of South Africa 2010 is very far away, but with this score, the morale will be up again on the next game.
This does not look like the same team that tied with Peru and lost with Paraguay last week.
And lost with Paraguay and lost with Chile and lost with Uruguay. No, it has a different face. And looks like with this new team, Colombia, if they still end up tying up today, is going to have a possibility for South Africa.
Efrain, you are familiar with sports here in this country. It is a fanatical thing. I was in the United States just yesterday in the Philadelphia Phillies. It's crazy. But when you talk soccer here, it is a passion.
Well, that's what people live and breathe on in sports. Soccer is the game.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Right now, 0-0. The yellow, Brazil, the blue, Colombia. If it stays like this, great news. A tie is good news.
You keep on with the news, and if something happens, I'll let you know.
Thank you so much, Efrain.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for tuning in, folks, for another edition of RCN News in English. Have a wonderful night. We are bringing Colombia to the world.